Welcome back to 2CTV, your global news channel. I'm Maya Tusi, and this is your latest update, this time from Britain, specifically England and London, or Londonstan as we call it. The situation in this country is getting absolutely chaotic. The police, especially the Metropolitan Police in London, are not doing their job. They are the ones who go around and have been going around over the last year or so, threatening Jews to be arrested for being visibly Jewish. That's one of the threats. If they come to central London, where they're pro-Palestinians are causing chaos, the Jews who are visibly Jewish could be arrested. A number of other Jews have already been arrested for supporting Israel. We have yet another example from earlier today in Hyde Park in central London at the Speaker's Corner. Now, Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park on Sundays is traditionally a place where historically, based on the traditions of this country and this culture, is a safe place. It's a safe space for free speech. You could say whatever you want, of course, as long as they don't incite violence. Although in this country, apparently you can incite violence if you are left-wing and if you are anti-Israel. But let's talk about what's happened here. There's a man that I relatively know, and I'm going to talk about that to be objective. And I can confirm he could be annoying, because he was annoying to me. He's pro-Israel, he's on my side, we're on the same side, but we had a bit of a row. For those who watched one of our live streams a few weeks ago, he came to me and he said, oh, you hang out with some people who are anti-Semitic. I was like, what are you talking about? So I know it can be annoying, but being annoying doesn't mean you should be arrested. Let's show you the video of what happened, then I'm going to explain exactly what the problem is. Let's go to the actual video. The police explains why. This is a big shout out to Urban Scoop for being there today to actually film this. Their full live stream is actually on Tommy Robinson's account. Let's go and see what happened.
So the allegation is made that this incident happened. Section 4A says directly at someone racially aggravated between Bournemouth and Maidenhead to beat the British Transport Police drop. All right?
The British Transport Police.
Correct.
Can I get my stuff?
Yeah.
Why? Because I said something pro-Israeli. Because I'm getting arrested for saying Am Israel High.
Well, that's your stuff, mate.
I'm getting arrested for saying Am Israel High. Am Israel High. This is a politic. They've been arrested for standing up for Israel. My stuff's over there.
His stuff is over there. Cameras over there. I'll show you. Israel High. That's his stuff there. Long live Israel.
Clear policing. All I did was say Am Israel High. There we go. My stuff is
Live and direct.
I've got my stuff in there. There's 2 bags. It's all over the place. I've got my streaming gear.
At least he's got a nice policewoman nicking him.
My phone is here. That's my phone, and I've got 2 bags on me. You are total 2-tier policing. 2-tier policing. I've got 2 of them, well, I'm going to get them. I'm not going to resist you idiots. Get your hands off me. I'm not going to run away. Where were they? I'll show you where they are, you absolute 2-tier police. 2-tier. Get me my stuff back. I want you to get all of my stuff. I know I've spread it around. I need to know where my stuff is. Let me find my stuff. Show it where you is. You haven't know it's not. My stuff, I've got a rucksack. I've got a rucksack here. I've got a rucksack here. Where's my rucksack? My black bag. They haven't got my stuff. That's not my stuff. I need my stuff. Wendell, they haven't. Wendell, there's a Carrymore bag and a black bag.
I'll find it. I'll find it in a minute.
I counted about 5 or 6 police officers just for him. All right. This was Hyde Park, Speaker's Corner, a few hours ago. On Sundays, we have this thing where people can speak their mind. The Met Police says they were arresting you, I believe, on behalf of the Transport Police for being racist. Now, this man as I said, I have had an encounter with him live on my channel at one of our pro-Israeli rallies. We're on the same side. He's a little bit annoying. Those who watch that remember that, right? Firstly, being annoying doesn't mean you should be arrested, as I said, but also, even if you're racist, but I don't believe this guy is racist, but even if you say something racist, you should not be arrested. This stupid, outdated law that we now have, because we don't have actual free speech in the UK, we have limited speech, unlike the United States. You can be arrested for being racist. Now, I don't think he's racist, but you could say something, again, those of you who watched that video with me and him, he could just say things without thinking, right? He might have said something, but don't think he's actually racist. Doesn't mean he should be arrested. The reason this is important is because I showed you this yesterday, and I think it's all over social media, so everyone's already seen it. Glastonbury Music Festival, which is happening now in England, this idiot, Bob Vylan, went on stage and started chanting, inciting violence and calling for he said death to the IDF, right? Watch this again. And the reason I'm going to show you is to compare.
Free, free! Free, free! Alright, but have you heard this one though? Death, death to the IDF! Death, death to the IDF! Death, death to the IDF! Death, death!
Inciting actual violence, that's fine. The reason I say apparently that's fine is because we had this. Somerset Police said, this is over a day ago now, over 24 hours ago. We are aware of the comments made by acts on the Westholt stage at Glastonbury Festival this afternoon. Video evidence will be assessed by officers to determine whether any offences may have been committed that would require a criminal investigation. It has now been over 24 hours and we haven't heard anything about this Bob Vylan guy. But it doesn't stop here, because there's another so-called band at Glastonbury, and as we reported on 2CTV on our website, the UK police now allows left-wingers to incite violence against members of parliament. Now, the context of this is this Irish band, left-wing anti-Semitic Irish band called Kneecap. Now, Kneecap, a few months ago, this is back in, I think, November 2024, right? Because they're also at Glastonbury now, and they've been causing chaos. They actually got booed and heckled by the crowd. They are so crazy that even the Glastonbury crowd said, whoa, whoa. These guys, a few months ago, in London, in Kentish Town, North London, they said to people, kill your MPs, your members of parliament, target them physically, violence, take their life. That's what they promoted. The Metropolitan Police today finally finished their investigation into what they said months after, and they've decided that it's fine, it's allowed. They're allowed to say that. Whereas this guy, pro-Israel, you should be arrested. Now, even hypothetically, if he has said something racist, it's not inciting violence. He did not get arrested for inciting violence. He did not get arrested for doing violence. Racial aggravation. Words. Even if he did something, if he said something racist. Shouldn't be arrested, but he was, right? Now, the reason we are at this point is because the BBC that broadcast Glastonbury and everything that happened, the political platform that is the Glastonbury Music Festival. Lance Foreman said something very interesting. Nowadays, the BBC put trigger warnings on Shakespeare if they have to show Shakespeare on the BBC. Was a trigger warning issued before Glastonbury or during it? No, of course not. Now that they are very good at trigger warnings, they've also removed a number of TV shows, the BBC, from the BBC iPlayer, and some episodes of some TV shows for making jokes. For example, there was the episode in Fawlty Towers. It's a comedy, a classic comedy in the UK. And there was an episode about the Germans, making jokes about World War II. That had to be removed. That got cancelled. That's the BBC. Issues trigger warnings. But the BBC are biased. But my problem is not just the BBC. is the policing. If you are visibly Jewish, that's what they say, the police, you could be arrested if you come to central London on Saturdays. If you support Israel, and if you come across as criticizing in a hateful way the Palestinian side, then you'll be called Islamophobic and racist and you will be arrested. When do we say enough is enough? How long do we have to wait for this? Now, as I said, the BBC, that doesn't put trigger warnings, right? Just a quick thing. Watch this. This is what's happening in England in 2025 at a music festival. I counted about 5,000 Palestinian flags right there, right? Not one single Union flag. The flag of the United Kingdom, right? This is a music festival in the UK. That's what they do to us here. And that's what you saw what they did to music festivals in Israel on the 7th of October. Everything is either symbolic or become literal. Sometimes it starts as a rhetoric and it becomes hateful, then it becomes about action. Whereas then they use the same thing against the rest of you guys, normal people. If you believe in your country, wherever you're watching this from South Africa, Canada, wherever you are, UK, you being proud of your flag, the globalist, liberal globalists, who are essentially empowering the far left at this point, they're going to come for all the countries, slowly. Everything you've seen that's happened in Canada with Trudeau and Carney, everything that's happened in the UK with Starmer, and even before Starmer, everything that's been going on in France, all these things, they're all connected because we live in a globalized world. Now, you might be watching it right now from a certain country that you would say, apart from some exceptions, like if you're watching from Poland, you're fine. But the rest of the Western civilized world, I mean, we have problems in New Zealand, we have problems in Australia. Even if you think you're in a country where you're still okay, there's a domino effect, there's a snowball, and it's happening everywhere. Who would have thought some crazy stuff that was happening in New Zealand would affect us here, or vice versa? Things that are happening in Canada is now obviously reached basically all the crazy blue states in the United States under the Democrats. And that's America, the land of the free. So when do we say enough is enough? When do we say we have to actually stand up for sanity and for our civilization? We don't have the mainstream media on our side. One of the reasons that I do what I do and our team and many other independent new media channels around the world is for this reason. Not just to report the news, not just to tell the truth, not just to also express our own biased opinions, because we still have to express what we think in terms of our worldview, because the political left control all the platforms anyway. Because even expressing your opinion is still important using these platforms that we have. But it's also about fighting back against not just the left-wing narrative, but against the mainstream establishment. One of the reasons that I've told you guys that we've worked really hard over the last almost year now, the last few months, on this channel to rally the troops, many other new media outlets from around the world, because this channel, we are a global channel, so we have to work with all the others who believe in life and freedom, who believe in our values. And we worked really hard, thanks to our team, assembling the New Media Avengers, and we're doing it. Big New Media Rally. This is the starting point of our New Media Revolution on the 9th of August, which is not really that long to go. In London, I'm going to need your support. I'm going to need everyone's support. We're bringing in everybody from Norway, Poland, the United States, many other countries. New media outlets are coming. The New Media Conference, 9th of August. The tickets are now obviously still on sale. Go on 2cevents.tv, you get all the information about who's coming. Some of the names, obviously, we've already confirmed. We're going to have, obviously, the whole day of conference, big rally, discussion panels. Actually, we're also going to make it fun. Music and game shows, drinks, food, everything, right? But this is, obviously, I'm doing the plug. I have to do it, right? But that's not just the reason I'm doing this, because it is relevant to what I'm saying now. people know, the mainstream knows, you guys know, I know that new media is now controlling the numbers. We get more viewers than the traditional legacy media, but they are still resisting, the establishment resisting our influence. They are restricting our influence. They are restricting our access. A lot of us, not me, actually at one point I did, a lot of the new media outlets tried to get invited into the big tent, not to sell out to the mainstream media, no, but we said, can we also get a press pass to go to a press conference? Now you can do it now in the White House because of President Trump, but not in the UK. You can't do that. In Canada, you can't do that. So we tried that method. Don't do that. Doesn't work. New method is start our own revolution. We have the viewers. We have the ratings. They don't. Why is it that they still have access and we don't? You don't beg. You show them that we are bringing down the wall, that we have the power. And we've already shown this, not me, but other bigger, successful new media outlets, whether they're podcasters, whether they're news channels, whether they are just political commentary. Again, even if you include, doesn't matter about political views, even if you include Joe Rogan. For example, candidate Trump going on Joe Rogan had more influence on the election than if he did an interview on CNN. We've already proved that new media does now have the influence. We just need to actually win the war. We have to take over, and it starts here. Otherwise, they're going to continue. They're going to continue to restrict us, to pretend nothing is happening, and to pretend that CNN and BBC and all these guys are still credible, and only they should have access to power. We no longer ask to be invited. We create our own, and we are doing it. All this nonsense, what I reported will never be reported by BBC News or Sky News. What happened today? They're not going to do it. There's a reason. They think they can still control the narrative. We have to show them, you've lost it already. The revolution is here. We just need to make it televised. Pun intended. All right, now, while we're here, I'm going to get some reaction from you guys as well. Super chats first. I'm Israel and live support in London Stan. It is. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for the support. BBC put out a headline saying Tehran back to normal with a picture of a market in Tel Aviv under it with a clear sign in Hebrew. Yeah, I saw that. So I'm going to see if I can find this actually. This is the weirdest thing I saw on X. It's genuinely fascinating. I hope I can find this. If somebody has if you know who posted it, because I did briefly see it hours ago. Essentially, yes, there was a photo of a traditional Middle Eastern market. So it was actually in Israel and people were just buying things, right? And the headline was, oh, look, Tehran is back to normal. Literally had Hebrew signs. It was not Tehran. I was looking, I was like, that does not look like Tehran. But this is what they do. And they're never going to apologize. Even if they made a mistake. I mean, most of the time it's propaganda, right? It's the BBC. Testing. I can't talk about my hate for these guys according to YouTube, but they hate me. Okay. Who's these guys? Phobia means irrational fear. Fearing Islam is rational. So ironically, I actually said this, a version of this, on X a year ago, 2 years ago. I had the police in London knocking on my door saying, you posted something Islamophobic. I literally said, I'm like, Islamophobia is actually rational fear and opposition, not irrational, right? So it's not a phobia. And then obviously they had to do it because it's part of the bureaucracy. They had to check. They're like, oh yeah, they brought in like 2 or 3 police officers saying, what did you mean by that, right? It's like, they basically wanted to see if what I said was, do I basically want to attack every brown person who would seem Muslim, or was I just talking about the ideology? So I said, I'm just talking about the ideology. I don't like it. And then they left. But that wasted a few hours of their time and the taxpayer, because that's like 2 or 3 police officers just talking to me instead of going around and actually chasing criminals. But this happens. You say this, you could be arrested almost immediately. Whereas Kneecap, the Irish band, months and months of investigation based on something that they clearly said, and everybody saw the evidence because they said it publicly when they said kill your MP. The result is apparently they don't need to get arrested. If you could be Prime Minister, would you? You would be great. I would rather die in a ditch than get back into frontline politics. No, I've got better things to do than become a politician. As I always say, if you offer me a dictatorship as a role, then yes. But I'm not going to go through elections and talking to voters. It's too much. my intolerance level. Your take on North Korea leader and Putin signing an alliance. It's not really a shocking breaking news. It's North Korea and Russia. They've been strong allies over the last almost century now. But they're new teaming up. It's mostly basically the Kremlin supporting North Korea more, because when North Korea sent their soldiers to Ukraine a few months ago to fight, and when that fell apart because half of the North Korean soldiers were missing because they got lost, not really sure what happened. The others, some of them were drunk, and the others just died. They had to go back, so Putin now has to make him a little bit happier. So it's also just posturing as well. But it's to basically show the Western side, America, that don't forget we also have the Eastern Alliance. It's that. It's just to it's to create more fear that World War III could be here. But no one's scared of North Korea. So now China is something else. So many Palestinian flags at a music festival when young Jews were unalived at a music festival on October the 7th. As someone organized those flags, BBC is just as bad. I am cancelling my license. Why did you still have your TV license? What is it with people who still have TV license? So I don't know, in case if you're watching this from somewhere in the world who you don't know how it works, you have to have a TV license, literally. You have to pay tax in order to watch TV in the UK, live TV, because in case you watch the BBC, you have to pay. And if you don't watch the BBC, then you don't have to pay, okay? I don't know why people still have TV license. Just get rid of it. What are they going to do? They can't do anything. Just don't watch the BBC and cancel your license. There's no reason for it. I think all countries that suppress speech, we should sanction. You're all in big trouble. God save Great Britain. I am praying for your freedom. It's going to be a long time. Terrorist attack in DC today. I just heard, just before we went live, I saw the explosion, the car explosion in DC. I'm going to do some investigation and talk to our team, find out exactly what's going on, and come back later about that. I'm just paying my jizya. Better get into the habit. I hope your family in Iran are okay. Thank you so much for that. If you want to support us, of course, make sure to become a member of 2CTV Plus and download the 2CTV app, the home of geopolitical news. Download it now to get access to all the news alerts and podcasts and live shows and documentaries. We have a new documentary coming out in the next couple of days. And obviously go on 2c.tv. The link is also down here. And become a member. You'll get 1 month free if you join as an annual subscriber. Okay, so we are going to take a break because I need to find out exactly, we're getting more updates about this DC issue and find out exactly what's happening. But thank you so much again, everybody. Don't forget to get your tickets to the new media conference, 9th of August in central London, 2cevents.tv. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.